All right, we are getting started and I am excited. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening. It has been a very adventurous day. I know that normally I would have already done my video by now. Today has been super, super amazing. There have been a lot of things that were going on that I wasn't expecting. There's been some growth. There have been several people that reached out. I had some people sign up under me for my what do you call it? My new stream of income. On top of that, I have had some amazing opportunities to pray for some women of God. I've had some opportunities to get new clients, and this has been a phenomenal day. It just started off with a bang and it just sort of kept rolling, and the momentum is building and it's building, right? But remember, I told you we are showing up regardless. So today is day 6. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just going to give you an overview from the calendar and then I'm going to jump into the actual message, right? What it's going to talk, what we're talking about. So day 6, eat to nourish, eat a nourishing meal. Nourishing meaning something that's fulfilling, something that is healthy, something that will replenish and restore from the inside out, right? 3 John 1 and 2, nourish, don't punish. And our prompt gratitude. What healthy choice blessed you today, right? Isn't that something? Okay, so now let's jump right in here. So day 6 of the Training for Life 30-day growth, healing, and accountability journey, right? So nourish, don't punish. And this is vital because if you know me, you know that over the past 3 years, I have been dealing with a major, major health issue. And in doing so, it has become, it had become, past tense, had become very difficult for me to eat, to swallow, all those things. A surgeon maliciously did something to me, and there was no way that it was an accident. So I end up subsequently over the past 21 months, had to have 10 surgeries to repair what he did to me. I am now on the other side of that, and I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful not only that I lived through it, but I'm grateful that I was wise enough to make the choices and the decisions that I made that have improved my life, improved my health, improved my appearance, improved mental clarity. So, just improvements. So, that supporting scripture, 3 John 1 and 2. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in every way and that your body may keep well or be in health, right? Even as I know your soul keeps well and prospers. So, the way you may be familiar with hearing it is, beloved, I wish above all things that you will prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So, that is actually one of the verses that my company actually stands on as one of our platforms. And because I'm a firm believer that the body keeps the score. The body keeps the score about every trauma you've endured, every issue you've had, every dis-ease or disorder you have had. And in that, it has become very, very clear that in the body keeping the score, there are ways to release those things out of the body and help the body to do what it already knows how to naturally do, which is heal. If you cut yourself right now with a knife, even if it goes all the way down to the bone, there are only a few things I would tell you to do. Now, if you can get to a hospital to get stitches, oh, that'd be great. But it's going to take you a minute to get to the hospital and you're trying to control the bleeding. I'm going to say cayenne pepper, wrap it nice and warm, wrap it nice and tight. And then more importantly, once the cayenne pepper does what it does, and no, it's not going to burn because it only burns to the receptors of your tongue. But once the cayenne pepper does what it does, which is promote healing, stops the bleeding, and causes the coagulation to happen quicker with the blood. Once it does that, then guess what else it does? It helps the circulation start to heal that area quicker. I remember a video that Barbara did, and she said she's a someone in the natural or the holistic realm. She's like one of, like Dr. Sebi, she's up there with him. But she said that if she had to only take one herb with her and she had to go into the woods and be there for an undisclosed amount of time, she's like, I'll find the leaves to have whatever other medicinal whatever I need, but I'm taking cayenne pepper with me. That's how vital that is. So just FYI, but look it up for yourself so that you can know for yourself, right? So today's action was to prepare a nourishing meal for yourself. And for me, I did something, I didn't cheat. I just pre-approved or pre-planned, put it that way. So I had some brown rice and quinoa already ready. Um, I had some vegan meatloaf already ready. Made it the other day. Haha. Yes. And some vegetables, and when I say literally two serving spoons, just two serving spoons of mashed potatoes, right? I try really hard not to do a whole lot of carbs, and so that was my treat, so to speak, of the day, right? Great. So that was my nourishing meal for myself today, right? Okay. And since I had to prepare it myself, I did cook it with my own two hands, right? So excited about that. So many of us are taught to think about food, how can I say it, through punishment or restriction, guilt, or even shame, right? Some of us even think about food and we think like, I abuse it and it abuses me. That kind of relationship, right? We grew up being told we have to eat everything on our plate, all those things, right? But I've gotten to a place where I can leave 4 or 5 bites on a plate and know I am full. I've reached that point. I'm done, right? So we may say, I was bad today because I ate that. Were you though? I need to skip my next meal because I need to make up for what I ate earlier. Who said that was healthy? Okay. Have you ever said, I have to exercise harder because I enjoy dessert? I know I've said that one. Come on now. If you know you said that, let me see some hearts. Let me see some thumbs ups in the live chat. Let me see some okay. Because all of us have said that at some point, right? Um, I cannot begin caring for my body until I lose weight. What are you talking about? In the caring for your body, that's where the weight loss begins, right? So a meal is not a moral report card. It's not. Today, we are changing the conversation. We are making the conversation positive, encouraging, supportive, right? We are learning to ask this question: what would nourish and support my body today? So for me, I had to get a second canister of hot tea because um, I don't know about anybody else, but up here, when it rains, it gets rather chilly. There's like a really cool chill in the air. And you can get sick being out there in that, especially because of all the water that's around here. So I may need some extra tea because I was feeling that chill. Even though it was hot enough for the air conditioner to still kick on periodically, I was still feeling a chill in the air. So I made me an extra thing of herbal tea. And as you know, I put my cayenne pepper in the herbal tea, right? Perfect. So now, when you ask what would nourish and support my body today, I want you to think about this. A nourishing meal is not necessarily perfect. It's not expensive. It's not organic. It doesn't have to be homemade or beautifully arranged. It is a meal that gives your body meaningful energy. You can actually be on the juice fast right now and still give your body a nourishing meal, right? It needs to have nutrients while respecting your current needs and resources. And I'll say this. For me, I have learned that there are days when I don't really feel like eating food. I don't have like just I'm hungry kind of thing. Well, I know for me, I get fruit and I may eat on a little bit of fruit right now because it's warm outside, watermelon. cantaloupe, honeydew, which is honeydew is my favorite. But I tend to keep some of those around so that I can eat on that. I tend to keep some like pumpkin seeds when I'm not feeling like just hungry, right? Things that I know are healthy for the body and the mind. So here's something that I've learned. There are some overall patterns built around whole nutrient dense foods, like including like the vegetables, the fruits, the whole grains, healthy protein, and unsaturated fats. But it is also common to minimize added sugars, excessive sodium, saturated fats, and even heavily processed foods when possible. So the overall pattern matters more than one isolated food or one isolated meal. I need for you to hear me when I say this. One simple way to build today's meal is to use a balanced plate. And so the way you do this is you fill approximately half of the plate with non-starchy vegetables. Non-starchy vegetables. Hear me? And then you use approximately 1/4 of the plate for protein source for your protein. And then use the 1/4 of the plate for quality carbohydrates, such as your beans or fruit or a starchy vegetable or even whole grains, right? And then include water and, when appropriate, a source of unsaturated fat like I love avocados or nuts, seeds, tahini, or olive oil. I had gotten into the habit for a while of just simply putting olive oil on several of my meals. And you'll be surprised how amazed I was at how the joints didn't ache like they used to ache, especially when you do a high quality cold press olive oil, right? So this visual plate method can be adjusted for vegetarians, vegans, Mediterranean diet, low carb diet, or any other medically appropriate eating pattern that you may particularly have. I personally am vegan. That may not be your story, but whatever your diet is, you want to make sure that it is healthy for you, that it is giving your body the nutrients that you need. It's giving your body the vitamins that it needs. You want to try to get all of your nutrients and your vitamins and uh, amino acids, all of those things. You want to get as much as you can from your actual food before you start adding supplements. Does that make sense? Perfect. So your meal can include something like roasted vegetables or tofu or quinoa and avocado, a lentil and vegetable soup, or side and with a side salad. For me, I love soup and salad. I don't know what it is. I think it was my hanging out days with Olive Garden, but that soup and salad, it just hit differently. With the whole grain or gluten-free crackers, hits different every single time, right? You can do something like brown rice, black beans, sauteed greens, salsa with some guacamole. You can do something like a nourishing bowl that has like the vegetables, the chickpeas, sweet potatoes, and some tahini on top. I have fallen in love with tahini. You can do oatmeal with berries, chia seeds. I always add flaxseed, milled flax seeds when I do chia seeds because it's just something about making sure that it gets the sweeping all through the walls of the arteries and the colon and all of that, right? Chia and flax seeds together, they sweep. Yes. But you can add extra nuts and fortify it with, I don't do soy milk, but you can do soy milk. I do nut milk personally, and I'm enjoying learning how to make my own, right? Or coconut milk. So the specific foods may differ based on your diet and your preference, and that's perfectly fine. But the intention remains the same. Give your body something that supports it, something that nourishes it from a cellular level, from the inside out. That's the most important thing. So plant-based proteins such as beans, lentils, tofu, tempeh, nuts, seeds, and soy foods, they can provide protein, right? And other nutrients that your body definitely needs on a daily basis. I heard someone actually say, if you are vegan or vegetarian, there's no way you can get enough protein. That's not true, because I'm not going to go there. But all I'm going to say is that cow that you enjoyed eating the steak from, right? He got the protein in his muscles from eating leaves and grass and berries and sticks and all that good stuff and herbs. Just saying. And we can do the same, right? So that's all I'm saying. Just think about it. Not saying that's what you have to do, but I'm just saying it's an option, right? Some plant-based meat substitutes, however, I've learned to make my own, but it may be highly processed and have like high levels of sodium. So learn how to make your own. It's really easy to clean you some mushrooms, to soak you some walnuts, and to put them in the food processor with some seasonings and get exactly what you need to get and make it look like meat with some liquid coconut aminos and keep it moving, right? But if that's not your lane. I get that. And I'm not trying to get anybody to do what I do because what I do is working for Shantell. I can't speak for anyone else. I can't speak for who all on here. I can't speak for Jean. I can't speak for Carolyn. I can't speak for Roderick. I can't speak for Dina. I can't speak for Nene. I can't speak for Marjorie or Miss T. I can't speak for any of you all. What I can say is this. You want to make sure that what you're doing for your body is working for your body. Don't just stick to a diet or what you're doing just because that's what you always did, right? What good is that? That doesn't help you and it doesn't help anyone else because if you're missing out on vital nutrients and everything that your body is screaming and telling you it needs, then you need to reevaluate what you're eating. Start with your food before you start trying to buy a supplement, right? Because a lot of us are paying for all these supplements, and all we're doing is having some very expensive urine. Okay, that's all. It just goes straight through us and straight out of us and does nothing because we have not detoxed, we have not filtered anything, we have not made sure that it is structured in a way that our bodies can actually absorb it. Right? Okay, so let's see here. Your nourishing meal may be assembled, right? So you can have a bowl of soup with some veggies and beans. You can have some hummus and I gave a whole bunch of these things, but that's just me. I don't want to tell you how to eat. The goal is to reduce the number of decisions required while still giving your body the care that it needs. So the goal is not culinary perfection. It's not. It's making sure you have what is needed and necessary for the body to continue to function at maximum capacity. No afternoon slumps, no needing a nap in the middle of the day, no headaches, no body aches, no shakes, no, you know what I mean? All those things that we grow through with our bodies, right? So today I want you to pause before you eat and ask yourself this. So because of the time, before you have your dinner or if you're about to eat dinner, pause for just a second to ask, am I physically hungry? There's a difference between physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional hunger, right? There's a difference. Ask, what kind of nourishment do I need? Ask. Your body will tell you. And I challenge you all, ask these questions. Have I included a protein source? Because protein is vital, especially to women who are over 35, 45, women who are menopausal and postmenopausal. Protein is vital, right? Have I included something with fiber? Hint, hint, that's why I love the chia seeds. Really simple to get a whole lot of fiber right there. And I'm good for some okra because I drink the okra water every morning. I eat okra in at least 3 to 4 meals a week out of my week have okra in them. But I also do the chia seeds with it. I also do some milled flax seeds with it. Why? Because I'm trying to make sure I have the fiber that my body needs, right? Have I included color throughout the vegetables or my fruits? And when I say colors, you got to think about it. The deeper the color, like purple grapes, purple onions, the purple sweet potatoes, amazing. If you've never had one, you've got to go to the farmer's market and get you some purple sweet potatoes. They are amazing. Okay, but yes, those fruits and vegetables that have deeper melanin or pigment, they are that much more nutritious to your body. So get some, incorporate it, add it in. and watch what it does for you, right? Um, will this meal leave me feeling supported? Ask yourself. And do I have any medical or digestive needs that require an adjustment? So I have been learning how to make my own, I guess you could say the equivalent of like sauerkraut. So, because I never really like the taste like other people make it, because it always has a little bit too much of something. But when you make it at home for yourself, it's amazing. And you can put it on darn near everything, right? So I've been enjoying making my own meals, especially my own vegan meals, and I'm learning more and more every day. And this has been an amazing journey for the past 2.5 years, right? So for women navigating midlife and menopause, for men who are in that same age group and experiencing your version of menopause, I mean, menopause, I don't know what it's called, but hey, for that, you can, I wasn't joking. I was just trying to be, inclusive. But the nutrient qualities become especially important for you all, for us. Protein supports tissues and maintenance and repair in our bodies, while calcium and vitamin D supports our bone health. While when we hit our 50s, we may need to pay particular attention to like the B vitamins, B12, depending on food intake and absorption, right? Because it helps with that. And it gives the energy on the back end of it, right? So individual supplements should be discussed with your healthcare professional or nutritionist. Like I told you, our goal is to get all of our vitamins, nutrients, minerals from our food. And then you supplement what you have trouble finding in a regular food source daily. Does that make sense? If you're trying to walk back a dis-ease or a disorder, then that's a little bit different. And so you may need someone that's like me, like a herbalist, someone who has some other other specialties that can give you insight, foresight, hindsight. They can give you some information and tools and tips to add into your tool belt to ensure that you are equipped in this journey to present the best version of yourself before the world, right? But first to yourself. So nourishment also includes satisfaction. It does. If you're not satisfied with the meal or the taste of the meal, the texture of the meal, guess what? You're not going to keep coming back and eating it. So trust me, if you know you have texture issues, don't just go in the kitchen and make you something. Go somewhere and taste it and see if the texture is something you can deal with. And then, if it is, you can go and get the ingredients. You can go on chat. You can go and get a vegan or vegetarian cookbook and go to the grocery store and do what you need to do. Right? You are more likely to maintain a healthy pattern when your food is enjoyable, when it's culturally meaningful, when it's accessible, when it's realistic for your life, right? When I know I have a really busy week, my go-to meal that I will make my version of a vegan stew. And when I say it's a vegan stew, I'll take either some eggplant, I'll take some spaghetti squash, I'll take some purple sweet potatoes or regular sweet potatoes, and I will clean them good, um, cut them in half, season them, put some olive oil on them, put them in the oven, and bake them all. Sometimes I end up with 2, 3 trays of it in there, right? And that's because for lunch, I may do the spaghetti squash and put the vegan stew inside of it, just one side or a quarter of it, however I feel, depending on the size of it. I may do one half of a sweet potato and I'll smash it down, and that's the base. And then I'll put the vegan stew that I make with the walnuts and mushrooms for the meat portion of the stew. But I do all of that and I make a big pot of the vegan stew. I do put the quinoa and brown rice in the stew so that it can give it a little bit more hearty flavor and make it stick to you a little more. But that healthy starch, and then I'll cut like half of the avocado on top or whatever to give you that healthy fat that you need. Or you can put some fresh olive oil on top of it. You want to do something like that to sort of spruce it up, change it up. And then some days I'll do the eggplant, some days I'll do the squash, some days I'll do the sweet potatoes, and I switch it up. And I'll have that to eat on, if not all week, most of the week. When you know that you're going to be busy, take you a couple of hours and just do some meal prep. Set things up so you can make your life as easy as possible, because the fewer decisions you have to make in the midst of being hungry, in the midst of life happening, in the midst of working, in the midst of the kids, in the midst of, I'm saying, other obligations, the spouse, in the midst of, whatever else you have going on, community activities and so forth, you want to make sure that you have taken care of what's needed and necessary for you, right? And so um, food nourishes the whole body. And so you're looking at it, a whole person, right? So you're talking about their health, their pleasure, their memories, their culture, their relationships, and their community. And so you want to make sure you consider all of that when you're talking about the food. So today, you may say, I may not feel like eating the vegan squash or the vegan, whatever I made, vegan stew I made. But I felt like having a really nice salad. So even if I go someplace and I get a salad, I've gotten to where I tell them not to put the dressing on the salad. And then I'll come home, wash all of it, my washing, and then I'll pat some of it dry. And after I do that, then I'm going to add something to it. I'm adding some more bell peppers, extra pepper, extra purple onion, adding extra. I'm adding me some nuts. I'm going to always add some pumpkin seeds or some sesame seeds, or, something like that. Sunflower seed kernels, all those things. I want to add that to it. And then I put the dressing on there. My dressing, if it's not a dressing that I actually like, that's borderline as far as, because most dressings that are bought are not as healthy. But if it's one that is pretty decent and pretty healthy, then I can go ahead and go with it. If not, I have some things like I keep tahini, I keep almond butter, I keep there's this ginger dressing that you can make. It's really simple, only a couple ingredients, but with fresh ginger in it, it gives it a spice and a kick. And then you add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on there and then pour it on there. Oh my goodness, it does everything. So you have your versions of whatever it is that you like, and that's what you do, right? So today we're talking about nourishing the body for day 6. With us nourishing the body, I want you to ask yourself some questions. What can I provide that will help my body function, heal, and carry me through this day? I know we're halfway through the day, over half, but guess what? You still have maybe one more meal left. So what can you eat or ingest that's going to help make sure that you have a good night's rest? Whether you're going to add some magnesium glycinate, whether you need, instead of you doing some melatonin, you take 2 kiwi and eat 2 kiwi instead of the melatonin. Kiwi will help you to rest at night. Do some magnesium glycinate with it. You'll almost feel like you took something. Or for me, you can add some lemon balm tea to your tea and some ashwagandha. And guess what? You are absolutely floating to bed. It's very comforting, very calming, but it helps you rest and wind down. You can ask yourself, restriction is not always the same as discipline. So I want you to know that, right? Sometimes discipline means planning your meal. Sometimes discipline means eating instead of skipping a meal. Sometimes discipline includes protein that your body needs. Other times it means reduce the excess sodium or added sugar, reducing it. For me, I try not to do sugar because the sugar creates and makes you have hot flashes. So guess what? We try to stay away from sugars at all costs, right? Sometimes discipline means enjoying my meal without guilt. Sometimes discipline means getting personalized help with a nutritionist, right? With a board certified somebody who can talk to you about your meal prepping, your meal plan, and what's diet and whatever that is best for you to eat. And I'm specifying for you to eat because nobody else is you. There's only one of you. Even if you're a twin, there's only one of you, right? And so you want to make sure that you're tailoring everything for you specifically. A nourishing choice can be small. It can be very small. So my nourishing choice today was the pumpkin seeds. Small, right? Maybe you can add some vegetables to a meal instead of that you planned already. Maybe you can drink water instead of, say, a soda or sugary beverage. Maybe you can do some beans, tofu, lentils, or nuts and seeds for protein. Maybe you can, instead of eating while you're rushing, maybe you can turn the TV off, put the phone down, and actually sit there and have a conversation like we used to eat dinner when we were small, right? Family sat down together and ate dinner together. And if you're like me, when my mom went through divorce, um, we literally, because of her job, she would cook. And when I sat down to eat dinner, I'd be sitting there by myself because my sisters were older than me. I was the youngest. So I was the last one home. So I would sit there and I'll eat my meal. Or that's when I learned, hey, go sit in front of the TV. Because I was tired of eating by myself. And I get it. Sometimes you get that way. And that's okay. You can be that way. But sometimes, just sometimes, pick up a good book and read the book while you're eating. Or just simply sit and just meditate. You can do all those things, right? So today's gratitude prompt: what healthy choice blessed me today? Or what healthy choice favored me that I made, favored me today, right? Perhaps you are grateful for the fact that you had food available already that you cooked. Maybe you tried something new. You tried a different type of salad, right? Maybe you tried to listen to your body instead. Maybe you prepared a meal instead of skipping one. Maybe you did something like you made a choice to support your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your digestive health, your energy, your emotional well-being. Maybe you did one of those things in the meal incorporation or in the building of the meal, right? Maybe, just maybe. And please, please, please do not dismiss the value of one nourishing decision. I need you to know that one choice can build and start momentum. And I don't want you to minimize the value of it, right? So one meal will not determine your entire health journey. It won't. But one intentional meal can begin rebuilding your relationship with your body, right? How many of us need to rebuild that in relationship? I know I had to rebuild it. I had to rebuild the relationship and the body, right? So say this to yourself. Repeat after me. I will not use food to punish my body. I will nourish myself with compassion, wisdom, balance, and gratitude. I release perfection and choose one healthy decision that supports the man or woman that I am becoming. See how that works? Take a deep breath there for me. You deserve it. You're worth it. And when nobody's told you today, I'm proud of you because you have been showing up for yourself. You have been consistent. You have been gracious to yourself, loving to yourself. And just know you have someone who is cheering for you. I love you to life. And I speak life over your life, in your life, and through your life. So let's talk about it. Today, I want you to go to the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, the 30-day T4L Training for Life, 30-day journey of health, growth, and accountability. Let's talk about it. Now, day 6, did you complete that nourishing meal already? I completed mine, so I can give myself a green check today. Yay. Did you have to modify your day? And that's okay if you had to modify your day. We still love you for showing up. So give yourself a purple heart, right? And then resting and returning. We don't restart, we resume. We don't restart, we resume, right? Okay, so give yourself a green leaf and come back tomorrow strong, right? Rest and come back strong. So answer this question for me. And I always tell you, keep a paper and pen by yourself. What healthy choice did you make today that encouraged you, blessed you, favored you? Remember, it's one day at a time, one choice at a time, one transformed life at a time. That's what we've been saying all week, right? Okay, so with that, we know the verse that we talked about. 3 John 1 and 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So that being said, it starts off with beloved. It begins with that relational language, right? It's addressing someone who is valued, someone who is loved. And then I want you to understand something. Taking care of your health should begin with love, always. Not hatred of your body, not hatred of your circumstances, not dislike or disdain for a condition or a diagnosis that you're dealing with at the time. Sustainable wellness is difficult to build through humiliation, condemnation, and punishment. Did you catch me? Sustainability or sustainable wellness is difficult to build through humiliation, condemnation, and punishment. Then the scripture goes on and says, I wish above all things that you may prosper. This is a prayer to flourish, right? Prosperity is not, in this context, is not like what you think it is, what we think about today, right? It should not be reduced to financial wealth. It's not. It reflects the desire for that person's life to go well and for them to experience well-being in every single aspect and area of their life. My company is Training for Life because we stand on 4 pillars: spiritual, mental, physical, financial. Financial is last because you can have all the money in the world, but guess what? Without health, you can't do nothing with it. And most people will spend all that they have to regain a smidgen of health so that they can live a little longer. So I want you to understand true prosperity includes spiritual alignment, emotional health, physical stewardship, healthy relationships, wisdom. What did we say wisdom was yesterday? The practical application of knowledge. That's wisdom, right? And purpose. Please don't forget your purpose. Because when you were created, there was an answer in the earth that was wrapped inside of you. And then you were sent through the matrix of a woman to get here. So when the world started attacking you as a child to try to beat it out of you, trick it out of you, one question we were never taught to ask: what's in me that I have yet to recognize that the world already sees and knows is there, and I'm going to change some things in the world because of it or through it? Me being the healer that I am, me being the seer that I am, me being the loving person that I am, guess what? I have been attacked from a young age to try to beat that out of me, to try to make it ooze out of all of the wounds and the abuse and all of the trauma that was trying to be stored in my body. And so I had to learn how to release that. And now I enjoy teaching others how to release it, that they will not be held captive to their experiences and to the past. Because as long as you're stuck in the past, guess what? You'll be pulled into depression. You'll be pulled into those places and spaces that seek to drain you dry. And then it says, be in health. This is physical well-being because it matters, right? The body is not separate from the ability to serve, to work, to lead, to worship, to care for others, and to fulfill your responsibilities. Did you catch that? Eating a nourishing meal is not vanity. It is one way to steward the body that is carrying you through your assignment. How well are you stewarding the body that's carrying you through your assignment? Even as the soul prospers. So John connects his connection. It literally concerns for the body's well-being with the condition of the inner person, the inner man, right? This does not mean that your spiritually mature people will never experience illness. It does not, because guess what? Trust me, the life, and as long as you are getting matured and seasoned, I promise you, there are these little people, and we love these little people. And I call them little petri dishes for a reason, because when the little people come around us as we are maturing wisely and healthy, right? We come up with the the sniffles, the coughs, the and the little people, they just skip right on off onto their life, and they are happy go lucky. And I got to spend time with Mimi, and I got to and now Mimi's in bed for 3 days with the sniffles, drinking on some mullein tea with some fenugreek and some slippery elm, and trying to do all these things to heal and restore and recover, right? But can I tell you that um, I learned at an early age to help my children to not bring home all of the little germies from all of their little petri dish friends was something really simple. My kids never understood why, especially all while they were in elementary school, daycare and elementary school. You got some applesauce with cinnamon in it every single morning. Mama, I want the applesauce. I don't care. I ain't asked you what you wanted. Eat it. They didn't understand that the cod liver oil was in the applesauce. And when they got old enough to swallow the little cod liver oil gel caps, then guess what? They got the cod liver oil gel caps, and then I gave them the applesauce on the side so that they can make sure it went down. But you learn the tricks, the tools, whatever to help you get through the school year so that you don't have to take off, they don't have to be out, and guess what? You don't have to lose any money or time from work unless you want to. I use my sick days for fun days for me and the kids. That's what I did. That was just me, though. Okay, so it should not be that you are blaming someone's sickness or insufficient faith. You know, oh, that they're not faithful and they don't love God because they're sick. No, that sickness could literally be their test. When I figured out I was called to be a healer, guess what was the first thing that happened to me? I was afflicted with a dis-ease. Then I started getting afflicted with disorders. And I had to figure out how to heal this mortal body. Why? And I had to figure out how to pray through those issues. Why? Because it was attached and connected to my calling. And with it being attached and connected to my calling, guess what? In it, I learned that I can help others to heal. Does that make sense? You can give me some hearts if that makes sense, right? So this is what I always say. We can pursue whole person wellness without making promises that nutrition, prayer, and positive thinking will prevent or cure. So I need for you to understand, yes, we can bring the sick person to the elders of the church and have them pray. You can lay your hands on somebody and pray, right? But if they have a poor diet on top of the dis-ease or disorder that they're dealing with, if they're not, if they're not resting, if they're not getting the nutrients and supplements and minerals that they need for their body to have the baseline ingredients to begin to heal itself, guess what? They're going to suffer. Faith, nourishment, medical care, emotional support, rest, and wise actions can all work together. And again, it works together because we are multifaceted beings. We are spirits that are currently, that have a soul that are currently being housed in an earthen vessel, right? That's layer upon layer that you have to then understand how to get activation in, enter it, scan it, and then help walk a person through the healing of it, right? So let's talk about current guidance for nutrition and health. I had this whole section. I talked about all this stuff for foods, but let's be honest. The way I eat is not the way you eat. All I can say is if you cannot eat out at restaurants, if you can go home and make your own, and please understand that you probably need to apologize to your mother because she used to tell you I don't have McDonald's money, but I got some burgers at home that taste better than McDonald's anyway. And she go in the house and she clean your meat and she make you some homemade burgers, whatever, with some fresh onions and bell peppers, and you get some natural cheese on it, and you get your own whatever sauce that you want to put on there or you like on there, and you get a chance to eat it, and she took the time to cut you up some fresh potatoes and season them suckers good or whatever and batter them up pretty good and then fry those up or air fry them or however she's doing it nowadays, and make sure that you have a balanced nutritious meal. Gives you some juice on the side or whatever and tell you this is better and healthier than what McDonald's gave you, baby, you better love on her. Because the last time I heard the study that they checked one hamburger at a McDonald's, just one, 39 different human um, different human DNA were in it. 39. And it was more human DNA than animal DNA. So I need you to hear me. If you're going to eat food, then I know where we are. We're like, in the rural area. So yes, we can go and drive a little bit and go to a farm and you meet Betty the cow, and Betty's going to be taken to the slaughterhouse in 3 weeks. Betty has a quarter of herself that's left that has not been purchased. And if you say you want to get that whole quarter, then you tell them how you want it cut up, how many steaks, how many burgers, how many patties, how much ground, how much chuck, how much, all that stuff, right? And then they call you, you pay them, they call you in 3.5 weeks. Here's your stuff, it's wrapped up, it'll be good and ready for you in 24 hours. And you go pick it up. Load up your freezer. Now, if you're getting your meat from someplace like that, that tells you and shows you, you can go there and see that the cows are eating, there are no hormones and all this other stuff, then baby, go ahead on, buy your share of Betty the cow, buy your share of Chuck the chicken, buy your share of, whatever meat you're going to eat, get it. If you can see what they're eating and and it's a trustworthy farm and all that, that's something totally different. But if you're talking about going to a restaurant, and I don't even care if you're talking about Chick-fil-A, because there has been sin in the camp at Chick-fil-A for a while now, okay? Just saying. Be careful. And please don't expect for these foods that you're getting from these fast food restaurants to nourish your body. They're not. They are there for convenience and speed. They're not there for health and nutrition. And so that's all I want to say about that. I'm going to go on to the next part real quick. Okay, so we're going to talk about our 10 questions really quickly, and then we're going to get off of here. So 10 common questions that were asked out. Like I told you, I always choose the first 10 that come to me. Okay, so what makes a meal nourishing? A nourishing meal provides meaningful energy. It provides nutrients, and it's appropriate for your body's needs. So a simple framework, like I told you, remember, half of the plate for non-starchy vegetables, right? A quarter of the plate for protein, another quarter of the plate for a healthy carbohydrate. And then you want to at least make sure you try to add one healthy fat, like some avocado or some nuts or some lentils or something like that, okay? Okay, so this is a flexible starting point, but it's not a rigid rule. It literally is just a starting point, and you want to try to drink as much hydration, H2O, H3O if you can get it. That's even better. Alkaline water, Nican water. You want to make sure that you're drinking a source of water that is nourishing. And if you don't have, and all you have is a bottled water, then guess what? You can take some sea salt or Celtic salt, and at least twice a day, now in the summer, twice a day, once in the wintertime, but twice a day, put just a little pinch on your tongue. Let it sit there for about 30 seconds. Why? Because that vagus nerve is getting all of that salt and all that sodium, and it's going to make all of the cells open up wide and receive all that H2O, H3O that you're putting in you, right? That's what we're doing. Okay, number 2, does a nourishing meal have to be expensive? Heck no, N to the O. No, I told you the whole sentence. It does not need an explanation, but I'm going to give you just a little thing. You can buy some beans and some lentils, some oats, some brown rice, some frozen vegetables, some seasonal fruits, some canned vegetables and canned beans, and provide an affordable, low-cost meal that is functional and has all the foundations that it needs, that your body needs. Frozen, fresh, canned can all contribute to a healthy pattern. If you're doing canned, I always say rinse off everything that comes out of a can. Rinse it off, please. I pour it straight into a strainer and rinse it off. But if you can get frozen, I still rinse off my frozen vegetables. That's just me. I'm not you. That's just me, right? And of course, fresh, we're washing that fresh vegetable. They're taking a whole bath. They're taking a whole bath in the kitchen, in the sink, a whole bath. I'm talking about soapy water with some salt in it and some vinegar. So they're taking a whole bath, okay? And they getting bathed. How many times do you bathe when you get in the shower? At minimum 2, sometimes 3, right? Okay, so they're taking a whole bath in the kitchen. Got it? Got it. Okay. So, number three, are carbohydrates bad for me? No. Single micronutrients are absolutely automatically bad. But carbohydrates include fiber, starch, and sugar. That's what makes it a carbohydrate, right? Whole grains, legumes, fruit, starchy vegetables, they provide carbohydrates along with nutrients. So your portions needs and your sugar, your blood sugar needs, right, or responses, it varies depending on what you ate or what you eat, right? So some people with diabetes should follow their individualized care plan and stick to that, please, by all means. Have a nutritionist. Even if you get an appointment with one or talk to one and you come with all your information, this is how I normally eat, this is some pictures of what I normally cook. These are some of my seasons I normally use. I don't use salt. I use, fresh fruit, fresh herbs and spices and da da da, all those things. You let them know, and you can in a 30-minute meeting with them say, I'm gonna take 10 minutes and I'm gonna lay it all out for you. I take pictures of all the seasonings. I take pictures of, what I normally eat and what it looks like and so forth. And I show it to them. And then guess what? I do, and I let them then tell me what is needed and necessary based upon my health needs. Right? Okay. So just know everybody's meal plan is different, and you want to make sure that you're doing what's best for your body. Number four, what if I am vegan or vegetarian? Hey, I'm with you, right? You can build nourishing meals with beans, lentils, peas, tofu, tempeh, edamame, nuts, seeds, fortified soy products, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and gluten-free grains, right? You can have fully plant-based participations or participants in a nutritional plan. And guess what? All you're doing is paying attention to making sure that you get enough vitamin B, and you may need guidance on your calcium, your vitamin D as in David, iron, iodine, omega 3s, the fats, right? The healthy fats, and overall protein intake. Those are the areas you need to look for if you're vegan and vegetarian, right? A physician or registered dietitian can help you identify these specific needs, but those are the areas: B12, right? Calcium, vitamin D, iron, iodine, omega 3, healthy, which is a healthy fat, and your protein intake. So as long as you're making sure that you have sufficient amount of each one of those, and remember we always said we're looking to get those nutrients from our food first, then we go to a supplement if we're struggling to get it out of the food, right? Number five, what if I'm going through or having a low capacity day, right? And it reduces my appetite. What should I do? So for me, I always try to keep one bag of frozen fruit in the freezer. And I always keep like the pea protein, or I have right now I have some dried protein um in the cabinet. And so I will mix those two. I will add some avocado, because avocado always, you don't taste avocado in a smoothie. It just makes it super smooth. And I love that. It makes it creamy almost. So I always try to have frozen avocado in the freezer if I don't have fresh avocado. And then I will add, of course, my chia seeds and my milled flax seeds. Don't take whole flax seeds because they will come out the same way they went in, whole. Okay. But if you have milled flax seeds, they've been crushed, or you put them whole flax seeds in a food processor and break them up and crush them, then that's totally different. But milled flax seeds, chia seeds, add that. That adds and boosts your fiber intake. You can do a lot of different things, and you can add a lot of different combinations together to make sure that you're reaching certain goals for your health. But don't limit yourself to what you're eating. People are like, I've heard people say, oh, no, I don't eat that. I don't like how that tastes. I don't like how that smells. Well, I tell you what, I don't care about the smell of a thing. If I know it's fresh, if I know that it is healthy, I don't even care about what it tastes like. If it's the nutrients I need, I'm at an age and stage now in my 50s. Let me just get it down. Okay. So when people talk about I can't drink okra water, I'm so sorry. I know that there's some people who the texture really bothers people. I get it. For me, I take my okra water and I pour it into a pot on the stove and I warm it up just a little. So it's not cold, even though it came out the refrigerator, it's not cold. It's a little warmer than room temperature. It's not like a whole bunch of steam coming off of it, but it is just a little bit. I warm it up, and that makes it easier for me because I even put psyllium husk in my okra water, making it thicker. I put chia seeds and flax seeds, making it thicker, right? And I drink it. I'm not concerned about the texture. I'm concerned about the health benefits, right? That's what we need to be. So, if you are eating smaller meals or you're having trouble eating because of grief, depression, anxiety, stress, being in survival mode, any of those things, then I need for you to try smaller meals, try some fruits, try a little bit of vegetables, do a smoothie if you can, if you don't feel like eating, just do a smoothie. Just drink the meal. Okay. You can make that green drink that Dr. Yaki did and have just that and water for 14 days, and you won't miss a nutrient, a meal, or nothing. You will be fine. And I promise you, it will reset some stuff in your body beautifully and effectively, right? So, is frozen or canned food unhealthy? Not automatically. So, you want to always, for frozen produce, you want to check the package. Um, when possible, you also want to get ripe. But if you can't, you can get frozen or canned, but you want to check the sodium levels in it and be cognizant of it. You want to check the sugar in it and be cognizant, because remember, if you're doing frozen fruits, it's going to have a level of sugar in it that's higher, slightly higher than normal, just slightly. But compare the labels and choose a product with less added sodium, sugar, or heavy sauces when possible, right? Drain and rinse canned beans and vegetables. Always drain the juice off and rinse. That takes away some of the sodium and the sugar and all those things, right? Do I need to count every calorie and nutrient? Not everyone needs to count calories and macronutrients. A visual plate method can simplify, balanced eating without constantly weighing and measuring. I'm sorry, I'm not going to weigh and measure nothing. My life is busy, and I jump up. And when I get up in the morning after I do my meditation, my workout, and I get going for the day, sweetheart, I'm not about to measure no food. Okay. I will eye it, but I'm not going to pull out a whole measuring thing unless I'm cooking a dish that I've never cooked before. Yeah. So people using insulin, managing certain medical conditions, and they have prescriptions and things of that nature, then you may need to plan more precise tracking methods under professional guidance. But I promise you, you can do this yourself. You just have to be cognizant of what you need and go ahead and just do what you need to do. If we can go and spend that money at Chick-fil-A, Mickey, whomever, and BK Palace and Taco Hell and all them places, then you can do this for yourself at home, right? Because the time you spent sitting in a line waiting for somebody else to do it and take your money, you could have went in the kitchen and just did what you need to do. And you can make more so that you have some leftovers, right? Okay. How much protein should I eat? Protein requirements vary according to your age, your body size, your health status, your activity level, and other factors. It's not just one size fits all. That is not how it works. So instead of copying a number from social media or from a chart, include a reliable protein source in every single meal, right? And then ask a registered dietitian or nutritionist, right, for an individual plan that works for you and your life. Does eating something less nutrient ruin my progress? No. Remember, we don't start over, we resume. So one misstep does not mean that you abort the whole mission. One food, one meal does not define the whole chapter or character. It does not break the whole thing of discipline or the entire eating pattern. It doesn't. So review the choice without shame. We're not shaming ourselves here. Everything we're doing is in love, because guess what? We love us, and we are learning how to trust and be consistent with our love towards us. So identify what you need. What did I need at that time that this felt okay? Make the next supportive decision. Remember, we don't restart, we resume. Accountability asks this: what happened? What did I need? What can I add or adjust next time? Punishment will ask something like, what is wrong with me? Why would I do that when I know this is not? That's not what we're doing here. No, don't do that to yourself. So choose awareness, responsibility, and compassion while you're adjusting. And then number 10, should I have vitamins and supplements to make my meal healthier? Listen, do not assume that more supplements are always better. Like I told you, some of us are spending money on some supplements and all it's doing is making us have some very expensive urine, okay? And um, defecation, and it's definitely not helping our body at all because it's not in the right form. It's not liposomal. It's not, it's not in the right form. It doesn't get absorbed the right way. It doesn't. We don't have enough magnesium in our body to absorb the vitamin D. We don't have K2 in our body to make the D3 that we take and be absorbed and put into action like it needs to be in the body. We don't have enough, all those things that you need when you start talking about supplements. You don't know all this stuff. And I don't want you to sit here and try to beat your head up against a brick wall trying to figure it out for yourself in a 12th hour. What I want you to do is get someone who already knows. Connect with them. Ask the questions. Go with the list. I created an ebook that I'm going to release really soon. And it literally has this was specifically for women who are in menopause, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopausal. But it has like a chart for you to just monitor for 1 month, just making little check marks. Did this happen? Did that happen? Did I feel experience this during that time? Whatever, right? You can do it all in 1 month, do it by the week, do it however you want to do it. But it has a place for you to put questions that come to your mind. Okay, questions that happen, things that write it down. So, and I tell you in the book, don't sit in the parking lot of the doctor's office and try to remember the question that you had 3 weeks ago. Just write it down in the book and take the book with you, or have a notepad specifically for this and take that with you. Everything that you've written in there, I don't care. You pay for that doctor to be in the room with you. And I know they feel like they're supposed to be in there for 15 minutes and 15 minutes only, but guess what? My insurance company is paying you, so I'm gonna need you to sit right here and talk to me and answer these questions, okay? And once we get through these questions, if some more come to my mind, guess what? We're gonna sit and answer those questions too, and I'm gonna write those down, right? And then we're gonna address these, and it's not gonna be a rush job, and we're gonna get what we need from every appointment. I need for you to be the best advocate for you because guess what? You're the one that has to live with you. You're the one that has to deal with whatever you're dealing with and living with. And I want to know that you are talking and speaking up for you because this is your money. This is your insurance company that's being charged for you being there. And if I'm going to be there, I'm going to take up the fullness of the space that is me. Okay. All of me is going to show up and all of me is going to have questions and all of me is going to stand there and sit there or whatever until I get all the answers I need, until I feel at ease. And I want you to feel comfortable enough to advocate for yourself at that level, because that is when you start having differences and seeing things change and become better, right? And so supplements can interact with medications, or they can be provided in excessive doses. And so you want to make sure that you discuss all of this with professionals. You want to make sure that you talk to a herbalist or a naturalist or a holistic practitioner, and then talk to your physician, talk to a nutritionist, talk to the pharmacist, ask the questions, because guess what? The more you know, the more informed you are, the better the decisions are that you make for your health. And that's the most important thing. We come out of this healthier, stronger, wiser. That's it, right? And so that is my goal and my wish for you all. So remember, this was day 6 of the accountability. So nourishing, nourishment, right? So before eating, look for 4 components: a vegetable or a fruit, right? A protein source, quality carbohydrate, water for hydration, or appropriate healthy fat, right? To go on your plate, all of those. And add before you subtract method. Try that method. Instead of beginning with restrictions, ask, can I add a vegetable? Can I add a protein? Can I add fiber? Can I add water? Can I add more satisfying portions? Add those things before you start talking about subtracting, because as a woman who is postmenopausal, I promise you, I when I look at how much they say I'm supposed to intake as far as food, I'm sitting there looking at these people like, there's no way I'm gonna get all that down. That is, yeah, okay, keep hope alive. So what do? I make sure that I have, again, my frozen fruit, my avocado. I have my spinach, and I will blanch some spinach on the stove and then put it in my smoothie. I know that's just me, but I know that certain elements of greens, you need to blanch them or put a little heat on them before you ingest them so that you can get the best benefits out of them. Okay, that's just me though. I don't know many people that do what I do, but that's just me. So I want you to remember this. There are meal ladders. And for me, I had to figure out what worked for me, right? So level one, when I'm on my meal ladder, level one, full capacity meal, right? Prepared, balanced meal that I measured everything, and it's, several ingredients, different colors. It's beautiful, it's tasty, it's flavorful, all those things, right? Level two is assembling the meal, right? Combine ready to eat foods with beans, with vegetables, with rice, with hummus, with fruit, with soup, or prepared protein. Again, if I'm not cooking the meal myself, then I'm assembling the meal. So guess what? I'm going to make sure I include certain components to make sure that I'm getting certain nutrients, right? Right. Okay. And then minimal nourishment. Choose the most manageable combination available to you. So fruits with nuts, right? Toast with nut butter, a smoothie with protein, a soup with another tolerable option like salad. Again, you want to choose minimal nourishment. When you're on those low capacity, I'm trying to just get it down so I can do a little bit of soup, or I can do my vegan stew. You know what I'm saying? Or when I'm not hungry, I'm making a smoothie, and I'll put the protein in there. See how we do it? Right. So those are the three levels. You can do a full capacity meal. That's when you're cooking it and you making sure everything is what it needs to be, right? Assembling the meal. You're piecing and pulling together, but you're making sure that you're trying to get certain things, right? And then the minimal nutrients. I always try that one for my snack. So I always do like an apple with some nuts. I'll do some mango with um, you know, piece of toast or something. You can do avocado with a piece of toast. You can do something, whatever, however you want to do it. I eat a little differently than some people. So do what's best for you and what works for you, right? The 5-minute meal prep or meal map that I have. So I look at this like this, and I try to do it in my head sometimes, but I do have a list on the refrigerator. Okay. One fruit or vegetable, one protein, one carbohydrate, one healthy fat. And that's one easily prepared meal, period. See, I had 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Real simple, right? Okay. So use the same structure to plan several meals without having to invent something completely new. That's when you see them people meal prepping and they have a meal and they have the containers and they fill all the containers the same way with the same thing, and they put different seasonings on whatever, and then they put the tops on there and they sit in the refrigerator, stack them up, right? Okay, cool. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, done. I'm telling you, whatever you can do to make your life easier so that you can have to make the fewest decisions possible in the moment. It works. I've been on here for a while, so I'm trying to hurry up so I can get off. But just so you'll know, I want you to remember this: the meal pause before eating. Always remember to pause. I'm going to pause for a couple of reasons. Pause because I'm giving my food instructions as I'm blessing it, right? As I'm grateful for it and I'm thanking God for it. But I'm giving it instructions. I tell my food to go in, nourish every cell. Anything that it finds that is not healthy in the cell, flush it out and take it out when it exits my body. Yes, I'm taking a binder. I take a binder at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks, 10 days out of a month, every month. I take a binder. I take a binder sometimes even when I'm not doing a detox. And you know why? Because the binder sometimes will bind to whatever's there and it will bring it out. So, hey, let's see what happens. I'm at that stage where I'm like, let's try it. Let's try it and see. So my psyllium husk, I try to order that almost every month from Amazon, and I go through it. But I do have my black wormwood, I have my wormwood, black walnut hull, the black green walnut hull, thank you, and my garlic with my oregano oil, with my aloe vera in it, with my star anise in it. And some of you might like the gel caps, some of you may like the liquids. I have both, and I may alternate, but I make sure I also have a great binder. So not only do I have the psyllium husk, I have the food grade bentonite clay, because the important part of detox is making sure that you have a great binder in your system. So you want to have the binder already in you. I do the binder for like 3 or 4 days before I start adding the detox part, because I want to make sure that it's enough binder in my system to bind to whatever's about to die off. So I don't have to worry about die off symptoms, right? That's how we do it, right? Okay, so the compassion convenience list. Okay, keep 5 low effort meals always available for difficult days, because we never know we're going to have a difficult day, right? Those sneak up on us. So, some frozen vegetables, some canned beans, some microwaved brown rice and quinoa, prepared soup, some hummus, some nuts, some seed butters, some pre-washed greens, and I wash them again, some tofu, some tempeh, some edamame beans, some fortified plant-based milk, chia seeds, flax seeds, because one day I wasn't feeling it, but I did make me some quick chia pudding, and I put some fresh fruits in there, and guess what? I made enough, and I had that to eat on for like 2 days. Well, no, it was 3 days. But again, making sure that you have some things that are quick, that give you the nutrients and nourishment that you need, along with, hey, it tasted pretty good. It was like a dessert. So have those quick things available to you. I'm trying to think. Anything else I want to add to this? Remember our declaration. I will nourish my body with compassion, with wisdom, with balance and gratitude. I release shame, perfection, and punishment. Today, I will make one healthy decision or choice that supports my whole person, my whole well being, and the man or woman that I am becoming. Right? Remember to go to the Facebook group. Let me know where you are today. If you're a green check, if you completed your nourishing meal, or if you had to modify it, purple heart, purple heart. There we go. And if you needed to rest and recover and return tomorrow, a green leaf. I don't judge. There's no judgment in the group. We are all here supporting each other. I love you all to life. Go forth. Have a wonderful and prosperous evening. All righty.